Hey everybody, thoughts on Thursday, coming to you a bit later than usual. As you can see, it is night outside and this was the first quiet moment I got today. Some days are like that. And I've been thinking a lot about what I wanted to say today, and the thoughts that I'm having feel a little bit more vulnerable today. And it's really funny. I find it very easy to be vulnerable in worship and to just spill my heart. But I think it's because I feel so safe with God. And outside of that is a little bit more questionable to me and a little bit more of a challenge, I guess, being vulnerable. These have been helpful for me in that. But as you know, if you watched my first video and previous videos, I have talked a lot about the wilderness season that I find myself in. And 3 years ago, we moved to Montana, which was, literally moving to a physical wilderness. But also it's just felt like a spiritual wilderness as well. And not in a negative way or a bad context, but in a way that has put me in a position of just total reliance and dependence on God in a kind of a deeper level than I think I've probably ever lived in before. And my thoughts today have kind of drifted into thinking about that time, and where it gets a little bit vulnerable is remembering back to how I felt when I first got here and kind of entered into this season. And side note, I find myself not even wanting to leave this season now. Like I'm so content in this wilderness that I'm like, God, I just want to stay here forever. Like I just want to make my camp right here in this wilderness because this has been actually the absolute best. So I'll be happy here for the rest of my life, I hope. I hope I can just stay camped out in this wilderness. But anyway, my thoughts where they got a little bit vulnerable was thinking back to when I first got here and how I felt. And again, I think I mentioned in my first video that I was feeling pretty dead inside and numb, a little broken, a little sad, and just really turned upside down. I had just left. I felt like I looked crazy. I just left everything that I had been working towards, for over 20 years. And we didn't move here for something. It's not like there was like a job or something specific here. It was truly just following the Lord and following to where he led us, and just total trust. And one of the things that was in my mind when I got here was that I wondered if God was done with me. And by done with me, I mean with worship. And I worked as a banker before I was a worship leader, and I was very content with that. I loved my job. I think I was good at it. I have a more analytical brain, and my brain functioned well in that space. And when I realized God was calling me into ministry and into worship leading, I kind of wondered, would this be like a forever thing or just like for a season? And I think I just felt like, could he really be that good? Could it be that amazing that he lets me do the thing that is like so in my heart, like the thing I just so badly want to do is to worship. And could I do that the rest of my life? And I think I just held on to it kind of loose, like, well, ultimately he is God and I am not. And I am surrendered and yielded to him. And I fight to stay that way. I fight to stay in that place, to keep my heart in a place of yieldedness to him. And if he wants to shut it all down tomorrow, he could. If he wanted to shift me into something else, he could. If he wanted to send me to do something else, he could. Like that was the reality. And so I feel like I've just kind of held on to it loosely. And so my saying to God, are you done with me? Like, am I done with this? It was an honest question of, I am yours. And so I don't really know what's next. I feel so turned upside down here. And so I don't know what you're doing and I don't know what's next. And so I'm just wondering, will it still be this? And I think the other part of my asking that question was honestly just pain of, I had just invested over 20 years of my life into helping to build something. And I kind of wondered, was there something left for me now? Did I give all my best to that? And is there something left over for me? And also, if I'm really honest, I even kind of felt like in saying, did I give my best, kind of going in giving my best and in giving my all, just giving everything. Like, am I left with crumbs? Like, and will I have to learn to be satisfied with crumbs? Like, is this what it's down to now for me? And I know that could sound kind of dramatic to some, but this is really like the turmoil that my heart was in and what I was feeling. And there wasn't really a lot of hope, but also I didn't really know what God was doing. I felt kind of lost. It's really hard to feel hope when you feel a little lost. And in that time, I was so shocked the utter lengths that God went through to send me a message. People coming out of the woodworks. Some people I kind of knew, some people I didn't know at all, in random places, in random ways, saying, I was praying for you. I got a word for you. And it was the same every time. They would say, God's not done. God's not done with you. And it wasn't just, God's not done, there's more. God's not done with you. You're going to do more. It was, and the best is yet to come. And that one stung, and it was a lot harder to hold on to and to believe. And I really questioned, is that true? Like, could it be that the best is yet to come, that there is something even better? I mean, it's been good. I have loved all my years with Jesus and all my years of worshiping him. I don't have a complaint. It's been really good. And the thought of could it actually be even better kind of took my mind for a turn there. And at some point, I got to a place where I decided this is a time where I just need to believe what he's saying, regardless of what my head and my heart is saying, or my feelings, my emotions, which is so much easier said than done. It's so hard to just hold on to a truth and believe a truth when your mind is screaming something else and your emotions are feeling something else. And those are big thoughts and big emotions and can be almost all consuming and overwhelming. And to just up and decide, I'm just going to believe this truth. But you know what? Sometimes that's just what is required of us. And that's just part of being obedient to him. And that's part of the trust of trusting him and saying, even when I'm not really, feeling that, believing that, I'm just trusting that this is truth and that this is what you are doing and what you're saying. And in that time, I wrote this song, and man, I needed to sing this song. I wrote this song because I needed to say this. I needed to like speak this and sing this over myself. The song starts with the very first line is welcome to a new horizon. And that's exactly what I'm looking at. He brought me to a wilderness where I'm looking at a new horizon. I'm looking at a new sunrise, a new sunset. Nothing's familiar. Nothing's the same. And the song goes on to say to shake off the dust, and you are not done yet. And there's this part of the song that says that what's been before won't be again, and we are going where we've never been. And this is the truth. When have you ever been in a place where you're like going around this mountain, like you're going around this mountain over and over and over, and then something clicks and you're like, well, this looks familiar. I have been going around this mountain so many times, and you decide, okay, I'm done. I'm ready to beat this, conquer this, like get over this. And you do whatever's necessary. Is it surrender? Is it, trust? Is it forgiveness? Is it, whatever it is and that needs to happen to kind of conquer that and then get on the other side of it. And once you get on the other side of these things, these seasons before, the things, the way things were done or whatever it was, you're in a new place, a new season, a new time. God's doing something new. He's doing something different. One of my favorite verses in Hosea 2:14, and it talks about this. It talks about him leading us into the desert. And it's not a punishment or that you've done something wrong. It's literally an invitation to experience God in a new way, to see him in a new light, to have a fresh revelation of who he is, to allow him to speak to you in a different way. And the majority of the times, I think all the times, every time I've been in those seasons, I come out on the other side to that new horizon, to that new world, new everything. Just it's a different season. And you are not bound to the past, and you're not stuck in the way that things were done before, or what happened, or whatever is good or bad. And I needed to even prophesy over myself. There's this part of the song that says, pioneer, go build again. Singer, prophesy again. Dreamer, dream again. These are the words that I needed to speak out and to declare, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. Our words are so powerful. And sometimes that's what pulls us out of that place of hopelessness. That's what pulls us out of that pit of despair. That's what pulls us out is our words, our holding on to his promises and just believing the truth, regardless of what we're feeling or thinking in our minds. And so I guess tonight my thoughts are with those who may be feeling like I was feeling. Maybe you're struggling to feel hope about the future, or hope about what God has for you. Maybe you feel like you've been knocking at a door and just waiting for that thing to open, and maybe you didn't even notice a door over here that opened that is the one he's leading you through, because you've been so focused on this one. Or or maybe you're older and you're like, I got a lot of life left in me still, and I'm not done. I don't want to be done. I know that God has something more for me, and he does. That is the truth. And he is so much more good than I think we can even fathom truly in our human brains. And I'm going to read this verse. It's in Isaiah 40, verse 26. Lift up your eyes on high and see who has created these things, who brings out their host by number. He calls them all by name, by the greatness of his might and the strength of his power. Not one is missing. Why do you say, O Jacob, and speak, O Israel, my way is hidden from the Lord, and my just claim is passed over by my God? Have you not known? Have you not heard? The everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might, he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And that's my prayer for us, is that even in those hard and dark moments where it might feel hopeless, where you might be asking, God, are you done with me? I pray that you would just be filled with hope right now. I pray that you would feel the goodness and the kindness of the Father who goes through great lengths to reach you, to find you, to help you, to save you, to call you back, to show you his love. And I pray also that the dreams, the things that were set inside you at your very foundations, that these are the things that God put inside of you, the things that are without revoke, that is just in you, in your DNA, and who he created you, that there would be fresh life breathed on those things. And that if you find yourself in a place where maybe you came out of something really hard, maybe it's difficult, maybe it was a wound, whatever it was, I just pray that there would be a strength that comes only from the Lord that would rise up inside of you, and that you, in sheer determination and boldness and obedience, would begin to speak and declare the truth over yourself and over your own heart. And watch as you speak out that truth and hold on to that truth and just choose to believe that truth. Watch how your mind changes and your emotions change. And the last thing I'm going to say, I should tell you about this song. what I don't want to forget to say. In 2 weeks, I have another song coming out. The second single. Boxes was the first. This one is called Let Revival In. And it'll be out March 22nd. Yeah, 2 weeks. I'm really excited. I hope it blesses you. I hope this moment blesses you.